Hey, so today we're going to be talking about meal prepping. And before you do any sort of grocery shopping or meal prepping, it's always good to start off by looking through your cabinets to see what you have already, to see if there's anything that you can possibly use up before making your trip. And if you do have stuff, you can jot that down and just kind of consider it. After you take a look at that, what I always do is I try to figure out what I want to make for the week. So this time around, I went out and found multiple different recipes to get me amped up. I was getting tired of having plain chicken, plain ground turkey, sided with regular plain old veggies. So I wanted to have new recipes to try because it just amps me up and helps me look forward to a brand new week, a brand new start, and gives me a little bit more motivation to stay on track. So I made a list of the recipes that I wanted to try, just so that I knew what I was going to be referring to once I got home from the store. So that's step number one, is searching through your cabinets, finding out what you have, and then writing down your list of your meals that you want to make for the week. So go ahead and do that. So once you have your list of meals that you want to make, then it comes down to making your grocery list. So as you can see, I don't have the best handwriting and it doesn't look super awesome. It's just written down ingredients that I made when I was at work on my break. So then I could have this to take along with me when I went to the store. Now again, you can refer back to what you already have in your cupboards to prevent double buying or stocking up. But it's always good to have more on hand than not enough. So when you have your list ready to go, now it's just a matter of shopping. So let's get to it. So now that you're back from your grocery haul, we'll want to start off by getting everything unloaded. And if you have that done, then you'll just want to walk over to your oven and turn that on. So the first thing that I cook is my chicken and my basic veggies that I've chopped up. My fresh veggies, I roast most of them. So we'll just preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So go do that now. All right, so now that the oven started, we're going to be working with our fresh veggies and then our meats. So we want to have our peppers, our onions. We'll also want our sweet potatoes ready to go, and 4 chicken breasts and 4 pounds of ground beef. So set that all out along with a cutting board, 2 square glass pans. You'll want a knife or a couple of knives, one to cut up your veggies, one to cut up your chicken, cut off all the fat, and then you'll just want to set your ground beef just off to the side for right now. And then you'll also want to grab your extra virgin olive oil, hot sauce, and lemon juice. And we're going to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the extra virgin olive oil and just sprinkle a little bit of it at the bottom of your glass pans for our chicken. And then once that's done, we'll cut off any of the fat off the chicken, unless you prefer that on there. And then when you have your fat cut off from your chicken, you'll just place your chicken, 2 breasts in each glass pan. And then once that's finished, then we're going to take a little bit of hot sauce and sprinkle it on top of the chicken breasts. And we're going to just kind of dabble on a little bit of lemon juice on the top as well, so we can make our buffalo chicken. So when that's done and the oven's preheated, we're going to get ready to put that in. So just set that off to the side for now, and we're going to move on to the next step. So next is going to be our sweet potatoes. So we'll want to take those out of the bag and we'll rinse those off under some lukewarm, coldish water and rip off any of the long strings that you see, but we'll keep them whole so we can bake them and work with them later on. So after you rinse all of them off, you'll just set them off to the side. You'll want to take out your tin foil and you'll wrap every single one up on tin foil and put it on a cookie sheet, and we're going to set that off to the side as well. Right, so next step is going to be working with our veggies. So we'll take our cutting board, our knife, and we're going to chop up our onions into small little pieces. And then we'll set that off to the side and move on to the peppers. So slice those into long, thin strips, each bell pepper into long, thin strips. So what you'll start off by doing is taking your bell pepper out of the bag. You'll cut off the top with the green stem on the top of it, and then you'll clean out the inside. So you'll just grab that little knob in the middle, throw it away, clean out any of the little seeds and the thin white strips on the inside of the bell pepper, and you'll just throw that away. The top that you cut off, you'll just take the pepper that's like remaining, excluding the stem, and you'll just break that into little pieces. So you'll do that for every single bell pepper. And I chopped up 3 bell peppers into those long strips. So you can use those to go ahead and cook with. So then when you get that done, you'll set that off to the side, and we're gonna basically take another cookie sheet, and we're gonna put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on the bottom. So just put some in your hand and rub it over the bottom of the cookie sheet, and then you'll put your chopped onions, pretty much 3/4 of them or a half of them, whatever you don't want to use for your turkey burgers, and you'll put those on the pan, and then you'll take your 3 bell peppers in the strips, and you'll put those around on your cookie sheet as well, surrounding your onions. So then when you have that done, set that off to the side as well. So with your other 3 remaining bell peppers, you can cut those up into the strips also, but rather than placing those on the pan, we're gonna actually just bag those into 3 separate baggies. So 3 servings of fresh bell pepper strips, just for veggies. When you're on the go, you can take them to work. So simple. So go ahead and do that right now. Now, I bet the oven's done. So what we'll wanna do is put in your chicken on the top rack, so both glass pans, and then your veggies on the top as well, and then your sweet potatoes on the bottom. If you don't have room for all of them, put the sweet potatoes in there as well as your chicken, so we can cook those first, and then we'll turn to the veggies later on. Alright, so go ahead and put those in there, and then you'll set the timer. The chicken will take about 30-35 minutes, so just set it for a half an hour, and then we can move on. Next, we're going to be working with our turkey burgers. So you'll want to take out your 1 10-ounce bag of spinach, grab your cilantro, nutmeg, cayenne pepper, and oregano, as well as 1 egg and 2 pounds of ground turkey. And you're going to start off with your spinach. So you're going to take your bag of spinach, and I usually take out a handful of spinach at a time and put that on top of my cutting board, and I just bunch it up like this, and then I just use my knife and cut it as I'm kind of pushing it forward with my other hand. So then you can just do that in multiple different directions until it's like tiny little pieces pretty much, or as thin as you can get them. And then you'll just throw that into your mixing bowl, and then take 1/4 teaspoon of each of the spices, or just depending on your preference, if you don't want to use one or if you want to replace it with one, feel free to do that. This is definitely going to be up to you. And then put 1 egg in the mixing bowl, as well as your 2 pounds of ground turkey, mix together and form into 4 patties. And then we're going to get those ready to put either on the grill. I use my New Wave. It was so simple. You can also cook them on the stove. Whatever works best for you. You can also broil them. So whatever method you prefer, you can go ahead and stick those on the grill or your New Wave or wherever, and go ahead and start cooking those. Alright, next up, zucchini lasagna time. So we're going to take our 6 zucchinis and we'll rinse them off with water really good. Scrub, scrub, scrub. And then you'll place each one on your cutting board, and you'll just cut off both ends. And then you'll hold them upright so they're standing up like this on your board. And you'll take this awesome little gadget, like your cheese slicer, and you'll just hold your zucchini up as you're using your other hand to slice it, just like you would cheese, blocks of cheese. And you'll want to get them into about 1/4 inch thick slices, And you'll do that with 3 zucchini to start off with, just to kind of see where you're at. And then the extra pieces, like if you get really, really thick ones, or like you get your side pieces that have a lot of the green on them, what I did was just chop those up into little squares or little tiny pieces, and I put those on top of my pepper strips and my onion, my little pieces of onion on the baking sheet, because I wasn't planning on using those. I just wanted to have, you know, the better strips in the lasagna piece of it. So when you get that done, we're gonna move on to the next step. All right, so now we're gonna be cooking the other 2 pounds of ground turkey in the pan on the stove. So you'll want to take your pan, put the turkey in there, turn it on. I usually have it at about 6, a little bit over 6. Sometimes I bump it up to 7 or 8. So just depending on what level you want to cook it at, how quick you want it done. Since I'm multitasking and trying to get multiple things done, then I usually like to stick around, you know, in between 6 and 7. So put that on, and then take your bowl and put some water in it, or your pan, put some water in it for boiling your eggs. Place your eggs in there, and then put it on the stove on high, so we can get those boiling at a rapid rate. So go ahead and do that right now. On to the rice. So I always buy the Success boil in a bag rice because it's easy, and I ain't got time to sit over a stove for like hours waiting for other brown rice to cook. So it's simple for me. I will actually eat it that way. And I use 3 bags. So 3 of those bags I just put in a little microwavable bowl, filled the bowl with water, and push those down to try to make them sink as much as possible. And then I put them in the microwaved them for 10 minutes. So go ahead and do that right now as well. Back to your ground beef or ground turkey. So when that's all brown, you'll want to start adding your tomatoes and the sauce, your tomato paste. You'll want to add the organic tomato sauce. You'll want to put in your spices, and go ahead and let that simmer for about 30 minutes. And while that's all working, we're gonna just kind of get ready with the other items, kind of check on our turkey burgers. You can go work out, whatever the case is. But make sure that nothing's on fire, nothing's spilling over, and your timers aren't going ballistic. And you can just kind of start prepping up for your next things. So you can also, right now, take the time to measure out your fruit servings for the day, and prep any other veggies you want to. If you need to, you know, get your yogurt and granola ready, get your peanut butter sandwiches ready, oatmeal, coffee ready for the next day, whatever it is. Take this time and use it wisely. For me, I went and worked out because I didn't work out at the time. So you have a little bit of leeway, so squeeze in whatever you can, and it just helps you out and makes you feel that much more successful at the end of the day. So just keep an eye on everything, and after your meat's done, we're gonna move on to the assembly of the zucchini lasagna. All right, so with your hard-boiled eggs, so they're boiling, and once they pick up to a rapid rate, the bubbles in the water, then you'll want to remove them from the heat, cover them, and let them sit for 15 minutes, and then you'll rinse the water, and you'll just let them sit in the pan until they're fully cooled. So go ahead and do that. Once it hits the 15-minute mark, check on your chicken, make sure it's done. If it's not, you may have to cook it for another 5 to 10 minutes. Go ahead and stir your pan of veggies in the oven as well, and then kind of squeeze your sweet potatoes, see where they're at, more than likely they're gonna have to be in there for another, I'd say 15 minutes to a half an hour. So just until they're squishy enough, not super squishy, but not super hard either, because we want to be able to make, you know, like mashed potatoes type stuff, and then we want them to peel really easily with the skin just practically falling off for us. So make sure to keep an eye on everything. You'll have to stick the veggies back in there for a while until they're a little bit browner or have a little bit of a darker tint to it, but it's completely up to you, your preference. We just don't want them super mushy, but we don't want them really crisp either. We want them just done enough with, you know, the right tenderness. So just keep checking everything, and then we'll get back to your zucchini lasagna in just a moment. Now for the fun part. Zucchini lasagna time. So you're gonna take a little bit of the tomato sauce and you'll just cover the bottom of your glass pan that you have set out, and then you'll cover that with those zucchini strips, just so then we have everything covered, and then you'll repeat that. So then you'll cover that with your tomato sauce. You'll put in like about I'd say a third cup, maybe a little bit less or half of that. Just kind of sprinkle a little bit of your cottage cheese over top of that, which I use lactose free because I am lactose intolerant. And then you can put your big jumble of spinach on top of that, and then you'll repeat that step until your zucchini lasagna is fully layered. And the last strip, you'll have, you know, your sauce on top, and then you can put in a little bit of your remaining spinach, and then any other spices that you want to top it off with. And make sure that we change the oven setting once the chicken and everything's done. We want to change it to 405 degrees for the zucchini lasagna. So let's do that now. So any remaining lasagna, you can cut into strips or you can cut into circles, and just lay those on another baking sheet so we can cook those. So you can, you know, put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on there, and then put your strips and everything on. But we're gonna bake them just like we did with the other veggies, so we can, you know, have some cooked stuff and not always turn to fresh. And me, I like the zucchini, I can't say that word today for some reason. I like it cooked better than raw. So that's what I like to do with mine. If you like them raw, just go ahead and measure them out and bag them up. So by now we should have our zucchini lasagna in the oven baking. Our eggs should be done. Our turkey burgers should be done. We have our other batch of zucchini in the oven with the lasagna, and then our regular veggies should be done too. So we're gonna move on to the sweet potatoes. So what I did was I took half of my sweet potatoes, so about 3 or 4 of them, and I brought them over to a bowl. I took off the tin foil, and then I just took a knife and kind of slit the top of the skin, and I took a fork and just kind of unskinned it. And then I put that sweet potato in the bowl, and I did that with every single one of them. And then I sprinkled on a little bit of honey and cinnamon on top, and I poured in a little bit of almond milk, and I would say maybe about a fourth of a cup of almond milk in there. And I just kind of mashed it up with my fancy dancy masher here, just like mashed potatoes. And then the other part of the sweet potatoes, I went through the same de-skinning process, but rather than mashing them, I just cut them into little chunks, so little rounds basically, and I portioned those out into my containers, and I just sprinkled cinnamon. I didn't use any honey because you don't overdo the sweetener stuff. But I just put in a little bit of cinnamon on those, and I figured if I wanted some other seasoning that day or something, I could add that. But go ahead and we'll do that right now. Once you're done with the sweet potatoes, I went back to the stove, and since I had a free burner open, I just made a couple of egg white omelets. So I just took some egg whites, and with the fix, you know, you can use 8 total egg whites, and I just cooked those, basically like an omelet, or I like to think of it as a pancakes because I'm trying to improve on my pancake flipping skills. So I did that. One of the omelets, I just ripped up some spinach and put that in there, and that's how I make my omelets. And I made 2 of those for the following mornings. So after my workout, I can have some protein ready and not always just referred to as shake, or I can have that for lunch. But I was planning on using it in the morning to have that along with some of the rounds of the sweet potatoes. So you can do that now if you'd like. How's your house smelling? Pretty amazing from that lasagna? I loved it. I can't lie. It was awesome. I was so hungry. I was already done working out and I was like, I just want to devour this. And when you cut into it, the strips of the zucchini were done just right. And oh my gosh, it just smells like heaven in the building. So with that being said, we have that done. We're gonna move on to our hard-boiled eggs. So I took 4 of my hard-boiled eggs and I put those in a bowl, and I took one of the 100 calories, the mini servings of guacamole, and I, kind of just broke up the eggs after I deshelled them, and just like you're making egg salad. And I put in the guacamole with it. I sprinkled in a little bit of the lemon juice to go along with it. And I split that up into 2 servings. So then I could have that for, the following mornings or following lunch, just so you can have some protein with a little bit of healthy fats in a way that, is amazingly delicious. So do that as well right now if you'd like. Are you ready for the fun part? Now, you'll want to grab your Tupperware as much as you have. You'll want to grab your fixed containers if you have those for measuring, or just use measuring cups and try to measure to the best of your abilities. And we'll want to portion those out. So what I did, as far as the bowls go, if you look at some of the pictures that you'll see here in a moment, I just went through and I assembled them. So your egg omelets, put those in one container along with some sweet potatoes on the other side of the container. And then you have 2 meals right there. Then you'll also have your egg salad. Do the same thing, sweet potatoes with that. And then you'll cut your lasagna into 6 pieces. So it's 6 servings for your lasagna. You can bag up your hard-boiled eggs, 2 hard-boiled eggs per serving. So you'll put those into little baggies. And then you'll go through your chicken. You'll want to shred your chicken. So just take a fork and a knife while it's hot and just fork it off and basically just shred it that way. So I just pulled the knife one way, the fork the other way, and you can also use 2 forks and just pull it the opposite way until it's into shredded pieces, and do that with your 2 plain chicken breasts and your 2 hot buffalo chicken breasts. And so then you have shredded chicken all in all. And you'll make basically burrito bowls or chicken bowls with those. So in your bowls, what you can do is you can start layering. So if you have your corn set out, you have your black beans set out, you took your can opener to them, so they're all just sitting there. You can go through and start assembling them. So in your chicken bowls, you can put in some rice. You can put in 1 serving of those peppers, so like the zucchini and red pepper and onion mix. Just take 1 serving of that, put that on top of the rice, and then you can put in your plain chicken if you'd like, and that'll be 1 bowl. And then another bowl, do the same thing. So you can put in rice on the bottom, and then what I did with my fixed containers, I did half corn and half black beans and counted that as 1 yellow and put that on top of the rice. And then I took a serving of the zucchini mix and put that on top of it. And then I took a serving of the buffalo chicken and put that on top of it. That's another bowl. And then you can do, I put in 1 cup of fresh raw spinach on the bottom of the bowl. I put in one of the turkey patties on top of it, and I put in 2 dill pickles in there, which you don't have to, but I wanted it ready to go for the lunch the next day. And that's going to be basically like a cheeseburger bowl. So when you microwave that, your spinach is going to drop down, so it's going to condense because it's going to be heated spinach now, so basically cooked spinach. And it's going to drop down. You can chop up your hamburger and your dill pickles. You can, I put in mustard, and you can put in a slice of cheese or shredded cheese and have like a cheeseburger bowl. And then another one, you can take one of the zucchini lasagna slices, put that in one side, sweet potatoes on the other side. I also did another turkey burger bowl, but I put rice in there. So the same exact way before, just adding rice. You can also use some of the regular zucchini, so I have one in there with just the zucchini, the cooked zucchini with chicken, and I was planning on making like just a basic bowl, and then I put in some sweet potato slices on the side. So if I wanted to, I could put in hot sauce on top of that. But I also seasoned, you'll see a lot of those are going to be seasoned with Mrs. Dash, which there's like Fiesta Lime. I love the extra spicy for my veggies. There's also an onion and herb. That's the one that I put on the chicken, the plain chicken ones, to try that out this time. So it just kind of gives you a variety without having, a bunch of salt and extra ingredients that you don't need in your spices. And then you have your other just mixtures. So I just put in, like the remaining turkey burgers, and I put in some of the sweet potato mash and some of the remaining zucchini and pepper mix, and just portion those out so then I could have those all in my containers. You can also do, I did one with the zucchini lasagna and then rice on the other side of it. So that's an option. And then like I had remaining sauce from what didn't work in the pan for the zucchini lasagna. So I just put that on one side of a container and the zucchini slices on the other side. So then you have that as an option as well. And then you can, you can basically put that on top of the zucchini slices just to have, kind of like a zucchini bake or like a spaghetti type thing, except without zucchini, noodles. Or you can even bring along a piece of Ezekiel bread and have kind of like a sloppy Joe sort of thing. You can even mix in rice, or if you have some, rice noodles or quinoa, whatever it is you want to do. I'm probably just going to eat it like that. And then you'll have, plain chicken. I put plain chicken on one side, and then the other side I put a mixture of rice and some of the corn and some of the black beans. So I just took one yellow fixed container and halved it. Half corn, half black beans. So then it only equals one yellow, but still gives me a variety. You can do that with your hot chicken too, buffalo chicken. Then I also went through and I got out little containers and I put in some salsa because I love salsa. And then I have those 100-calorie guacamole servings too. So with my bowls, my buffalo chicken bowls and my regular chicken bowls, or even, the eggs, if I want to mix those, kind of like for the egg salad again, I can just have those as an option just so then it adds some flavor and it's on the go. So it makes it so easy. I can just, lock and load and be ready to move on for work. And it just kind of gives you some flavor. And then I packed up the remaining cottage cheese for work the next day. I have Ezekiel bread on hand. I have oatmeal on hand because I love oatmeal, peanut butter, And then berries, I have a mixed berries in my freezer. I also have bananas and I have green beans in my freezer. So I buy frozen foods in the event that I run out of fresh foods. And I only need to go to the store, maybe once a month because I'm buying in bulk, but I'm buying a lot of frozen stuff. And I still have a ton of meat that I haven't cooked yet from when I went to Costco. I just bought it in one shot. And since it freezes, I have it for a very long time. So it just saves me, make sure that I'm prepped and ready to go. I have options if I get tired of, the veggies, or if they, are maybe like 5 days old and don't taste very good, or whatever, if I explode them in the oven or the microwave or whatever when I'm reheating it, then I have some backup to go to, or if I'm craving something different, I can have something different. So it's always good to have those options on hand. I also have rice cakes, so then I can have those, pre-workout. I have my Shakeology that I drink every single morning, and I just kind of, back up and make sure that I have everything set and ready to go. But just use different sauces, hot sauce, use Bragg's amino liquids. That's kind of like a teriyaki sauce, or, like you can make like a teriyaki chicken bowl. So on your plain chicken with your rice and everything, you can just sprinkle that on top and it'll be kind of like, a Chinese inspired bowl. And I use mustard a lot, and, salsa and guacamole and Mrs. Dash seasonings. You can use agave nectar. I try to limit that as much as possible though. Same thing with honey. But just trial and error, and finding what you like and what you enjoy. And I hope this helped you. If you have any other recommendations or ideas or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. I would be glad to hear them and to help you out with whatever I possibly can. But I hope this helps save you time, and so you can spend it more on your family, on your business, on your extracurricular activities, or just living your life and having fun. So I hope this helped make it easy for you, and enjoy the recipes.